So the stuff today, I wouldn't really necessarily call this notes so much as a reference sheet. That's why it's called reference over here. You're going to be referring to this for the stuff we have to learn in the next couple of days. It's important to know this first, though. Knowing this, though, helps you tremendously with writing the proofs that we have to start writing tomorrow. This is proving triangles congruent. This is the 5 ways you can prove triangles congruent. So, for you to say 2 triangles are congruent, you have to prove it. And these are the 5 ways you can do it. Ways to prove triangles congruent. The first way, we call it SSS, also known as side congruency. Side congruency can be proven if you know that 3 pairs of congruent sides are congruent on each triangle. And you'll know that by either the numbers that they give you or the markings. I'm going to show you with markings. So, if they show you 2 triangles like this, and they may not always be turned the same way, I don't want you to think that. 2 triangles that are marked identically the same like this, with all the sides being marked congruent to each other. Short side being marked congruent to the short side, middle side being marked congruent to the middle side, long side being marked congruent to the long side. Then they're showing you side congruency on both triangles. This is the side congruency that you can prove. The second method of proving triangles congruent is SAS, side angle side. And this method includes 2 sides and an included angle. So you would have to have 2 sides marked congruent on each triangle. And then they say the included angle, meaning the angle in the middle of those 2 sides. So this angle right here on both of them would also have to be marked congruent. And when you read this, you should read it as side angle side congruency. SAS. The third way, ASA, angle side angle congruency. This is when you have 2 angles and an included side. So in this case, I can have 2 angles marked congruent to each other on each one here and here and here and here. And then the included side, the side in the middle of those 2 angles here and here. This would read as angle side angle congruency. Before we go further, I want to help y'all learn how to read this just looking at the images, because what you'll see is when y'all have to read these congruencies, you'll just have your figures marked up. They'll either be marked for you already, or you'll have to mark them starting tomorrow when you read through your proof, and you'll have to mark your figure up to figure out the congruency. But once you have your figure marked up correctly and you get ready to read congruency, there's certain ways you have to read it so you read it right. Like for me, I just read where everything is kind of marked all together. For example, on this one right here, the one side angle side one, the only 2 ways I can read this is starting right here at this side marking, saying side, angle mark, side. I see it that way, side, angle, side. Or if I come back the other way, side, angle, side. When you're reading, you're only reading one triangle. You don't read both. They both are marked the same way. You only need to read one of the triangles. Just reading one of them. Side, angle, side, congruency. What you don't want to do is go a direction like, and kids always ask me what direction do you go. A rule of thumb for you when you're reading. If you're reading around a triangle and more than one piece of information is missing when you're reading around, you're going the wrong direction. Let me show you what I'm saying. So I've seen kids start here at this side and try to go around this way and read it as side, angle. The reason that is wrong, because you're going around a direction that has too much stuff missing. For example, if I read this side, this angle is missing right here, and a side marking is missing right here, and another angle marking is missing right here. So going around this way doesn't even make sense to go that path. You should be going either this way or this way when you're reading it. Same thing on this one down here, the angle side angle one. I read it as angle mark, side marking, angle, side, angle. Well, I couldn't go around this way and read. There's too much missing up here. If I read this way, angle, there's a side marking missing, an angle marking missing. That's too much already missing. And then there's another side marking missing. To read this way doesn't make sense. To say angle, side on this one does not make sense. You're going the wrong direction reading it. You need to go direction where most of the information is. Right here, angle, side, angle. And then on the side one, reading that one is pretty straightforward because all it is all your sides are marked. None of the angles are marked, but it's only one thing missing each way. Either way you start, no matter if you start at this side, it's side, side. Your side, yeah, you're missing the angle, but this side is marked. Yeah, you're missing the angle here, but this side is marked. It's when you're reading it, if more than one thing is missing, that's when you're going the wrong direction. You should stop, go the other direction. You're reading it wrong. Alright. It's the best explanation I can give you. Next one, angle, side. This one is when two angles and a side opposite of them are marked congruent. Angle, side will look this way. Angle, side. Angle, side. This is angle, side congruency. Once again, reading this, you got to follow that rule. Reading it, just because I know I would start here, angle, side. Even if you start on the side one, you should still read this way, side, angle. And side, angle is the same thing as angle, side. You just read it backwards. Even if you read it backwards, if it's not one of your things, just reverse it. It's probably you're just reading it backwards. But the only one that reads backwards like that is angle, side. And side, angle. Everything else, whether you read it backwards or forward, you're going to get the same thing. This is the only one where you might read it as SAA, but it's really angle, side. Like I said, it's the only route you can go. I can't do this. I can't go this way and say angle, come around here, side, angle. That would be wrong. Why? Because too much stuff is missing. If I start here, say angle, side marking is missing, angle marking is missing, I'm already going the wrong direction. But I have kids that still to this day like to go that way. And I say the same thing to them that I'm saying to y'all right now. Don't go a direction where more than one thing is missing. Here I'm going this direction. Angle, my side is missing, but I have another angle mark and I have a side marking. This is angle, side congruency. Going around this direction is the wrong way. We're going to find out if y'all paying attention or not. Next one, hypotenuse leg. This is only for right triangles. You can only say hypotenuse leg if you have right triangles, and it's not necessarily true even if it's a right triangle. Certain requirements have to be met for hypotenuse leg. For hypotenuse leg, first it has to be a right triangle that you're looking at. And then after that, the hypotenuse and any one leg of that right triangle have to be marked congruent. So it has to be a right triangle first, and then the hypotenuse, which is that longest side across from the right angle, and then either one of your legs has to be marked. This has to be the requirements for a hypotenuse leg theorem. If it don't meet those, even if it's a right triangle, it's not hypotenuse leg. Down here, like I said, this is a reference sheet. This part right here is not going to mean that much to you today. I'll explain it more when we get into the proofs tomorrow. But these are most of the reasons that you'll use in your proofs to prove triangles congruent. These reasons right here for sides and for angles. This is a reference sheet. Like I said, you're going to be referring back to this when we start proofs. And then here's some other reasons down here that you'll end up using too. I'll explain these as we go along tomorrow. Don't worry about those today. Let's just get used to being able to call out our congruency today. Our triangle, why the triangles are congruent. On the back. I'm gonna start you out and don't start bouncing around. Compare the triangles and determine whether they can be proven congruent, if possible, by side, angle, side. Angle, side, angle, side, or hypotenuse leg. Write your answer in the box. This first one, now on the back, I want to explain to you first, and I said it up front. The ones on the front, the examples, all of them are facing the same way. That's just because they're examples. They're just helping you get started. Most of the time when you see these, they won't be facing the same way. They'll either be connected or turned different ways or whatever. But you should still be able to see the relationship between the two triangles and how they're congruent. On this first one, they'll need to help you. These are connected. You haven't seen connected ones yet. It's not that hard though. These two triangles are connected on number one. On number one, if they're connected and they share something, let me ask Faith. On number one, these two triangles, they share a side or an angle. Yeah, they share a side, right? Everybody should see that these two triangles share a side. I'm going to mark that side that they share. Since they share a side, I know that those two sides are congruent to each other, yes? Y'all agree with that? If two triangles share something, then those two pieces have to be congruent. These two triangles share a side right here. If that's the case, those sides are congruent to each other. Now, when I get ready to read this, since these are connected, I'm only looking at one triangle. I'm not looking at both. For me, I'm only looking at this triangle to the left over here, and I try to highlight the one to the left. I'm specifically only looking at that triangle right there. I'm not even looking at the one to the right. I'm looking at that one, and I'm trying to read my congruency. I needed to mark those sides congruent because that's important. Anything that they share, they won't mark for you. You have to mark that for yourself. And then you need to read congruency after that. But you can only mark stuff that you know is congruent based on them sharing it or based on them telling you some other information. You can't just go in assuming that stuff is congruent because you think it looks congruent. That's not the way to prove congruency. You have to know from them sharing it, or they've indicated somewhere in the problem that other things are congruent to each other. So in this one, once I mark that, I'm gonna read it. Let's see, Dior, do you know did you read this one? What you think it is? It's too early. Faith, you finish this one up. Good. Angle, side, angle, congruency. Angle marking here, side marking, angle marking. This is angle, side, angle, congruency in these triangles. ASA. Questions on that one before I slide on? Sliding on now. Number 2. Come back to you, Dior. I'll get to you in a second, bro. Dior. On number 2, I got two triangles here. They connected. What do they share? An angle or a side? So you need to mark that. I'm going to do it with 3 markings because the other 2 sides have 1 and 2 markings on them. So on this third side, I'm going to mark it with 3. After that, what congruency do you see? Yeah, you should see side, side, side congruency. S. Number 3, Jamal. My bad, let me talk first. These two are not connected, and they don't give me any other information to help me mark anything else. So you just read it based off what they gave you. Go ahead. Yes, this is angle, angle, side congruency. AAS. Juan, number 4. How you know? That right angle don't mean it's hypotenuse live. Coming back to Jamal. I ain't got that kind of time. Go ahead. Huh? No. Vincent. I only see this leg and this leg, Mark. Huh? Yeah, thank you for explaining that. Yeah, well, I need explanations. In the middle here, they share a side. What specifically is that side that they share? Y'all know? Yeah, they share the hypotenuse, right? That's important. For hypotenuse leg, the hypotenuse needs to be marked. It wasn't marked, but they share it, so you can mark that. You understand? Y'all need to understand that. So hypotenuse, and then one of the other legs is marked. This is hypotenuse leg theorem. Oh yeah, number 5. I always like this one. Huh? Okay, I'll start there. Jamal said they share an angle. That is true. Let's get real specific though. They share these angles right here. What kind of angles are these? Vertical, right? We should all remember that. These are vertical angles they share in the middle here. So we can mark those. We know those angles are congruent. We just know that just because we've been learning that. And then that's all we can mark based off what they gave us. Then we need to read it. Aiden, what you reading? Only look at one of the triangles. What can you see though? No, bro. What are you reading? Like, what we put up here? What are you reading down here, bud? When you read this, what do you see? What's marked, man? Read it the way it should be read, and then tell me what you see. Nah, that's not side angle side, but I'm going to Vincent on this one because maybe he know. Yes, you should see SSA. And hold on. Alright, next one. I need to show you stuff on this one. On this one, we got two triangles. We got two triangles here. They're connected. But the way they're connected, these angles aren't vertical angles. So these angles aren't congruent. I don't want you to be confused with that. You saw how they were connected on the last one versus the way they're connected on this one. These aren't vertical angles. These two triangles are connected and they're kind of facing the same way. But on these two triangles, they put an arrow here and here. What is that telling you about these two sides on these two triangles? That these two sides are parallel. They're telling you that for a reason. Anytime they tell you parallel in the triangle, they're trying to get you to see some of the other angle pair relationships that we learned before. I'm going to extend these out a little bit so you can see it more so like the parallel lines and transversals we used to do. Just so you can see it that way. I'm extending these out. If you look at these parallel sides right here, and then look at this as a transversal, there's other stuff I should be able to mark knowing that these angles are parallel. I mean, these sides are parallel. Let me ask you this. This will help you remember. When we did constructions, we did parallel lines. We even drew them on the computer that time. What kind of angles did we say formed parallel lines? Probably one person remember. It was a question on your test too. What kind of angles form parallel lines? Don't say nothing stupid. What you said, one? What you said? What did you say, bud? Oh, y'all let Irvin remember it? Shh. Thank you, Irvin. Corresponding angles. Shh. Corresponding angles form parallel lines like this. In this case, you got two parallel lines here. You got transversal coming through right here. I see a pair of corresponding angles here and here. I know those angles are corresponding because these are parallel lines. If that's the case, I can mark those two angles congruent based on that. And get corresponding angles here. And once I do that, I've got enough to read congruency. Once I do that, what kind of congruency did I give myself? ASA congruency. Slide down. Number 7, you shouldn't assume anything. You should only do what they give you. On number 7, let's see, what do you see, bud? We ain't got that kind of time, man. Sophia, what you see? Good. Where that other side? I only see side angle. What's up? What you get? What you do? Thank you. Right here where they share the side, she marked it again. And then she got side angle, side congruency. Vincent, I know you know. Some people are trying to tell me this is HL. Why isn't this HL? Say it again. Yeah, those aren't right angles. You can't assume that. I had kids in another class telling me, so those are right angles. Because it look that way. If it's right angles, they're going to tell you. You don't ever assume. I got Earl. What you see on number 8?
Side angle, side.
What angle you see? Where? Here and here?
Yes.
They didn't mark those. You assuming?
No.
So why are you saying it?
I mean, you mark the angle.
You can't just mark anything. They have to give you stuff to mark it. Even on that last one where we marked those corresponding angles, they at least told me that these lines are parallel. So I knew since parallel lines are here and here, these angles had to be corresponding. Here, they didn't tell you anything. All they told you, this side was congruent to this side was congruent to this side. Don't ever assume angles if they don't tell you anything. Miss Johnson. Okay, tell me how. What? Okay. Where the sides meet in the middle, they share this side right here. You put 3 markings, okay? And then you got side, side, side. Good. Number 9. Kevin. Huh? Yes, HL. Now HL is the most obvious one on this one, but I didn't say this in the other class, but you could, in the middle here, you do have vertical angles. You could mark that way too, and you could say angle side too if you wanted to. AAS. Is that S? I don't feel like that was 53 minutes. 10:45, sit down somewhere. Well, they're going to come back. I think that bell is just wrong. Oh, you know what that is? That's just the bell from regular day. That's 10:20. That's a 10:20 bell. They ain't even supposed to be leaving. They'll figure it out. They should have not let the bells ring. Sit down somewhere. That ain't been no 53 minutes. We're going to finish. Y'all messing up my video. Shh, sit down. Back to this. Yes. Shh. Alright. That's them that's going to be screwed. We ain't supposed to be releasing. I don't even care. and they ain't even came and made no announcement yet. They so out of whack up front. Alright. Next one. What we got? Lucas, you ain't said nothing yet. Number 10. Tell me how. Okay, I hear you whispering. I think I hear you say, "Well, the triangles meet." You saying they share an angle here and here, and you read angle side angle. What you read? Angle side angle. You gotta show me how on that one. I ain't reading that. Huh? Alright. I'm just trying to figure out how you read an angle side angle. Are you reading around the triangle, or are you just seeing three things and just saying three things you think you see? Huh? Okay. DR, go ahead. Yes, should be angle side. Help him out over there, Jamal. Show him how to read it. Money, this one for you. Yeah, this one I'm waiting on to get to so I can ask you. Vincent already don't handle stuff. Okay. I can't hear you. He's whispering. Good. You shouldn't. Oh, you think you know? Go ahead. Huh? What angles you see? Huh? They don't share those angles up there. Then, like vertical angles, they will share. Shh. What's up now?
Excuse the interruption. Students coming from first lunch should be going to their third period class. Students coming from first lunch should be going to their third period class. Thank you.
Go ahead. Yeah. Not congruent. On this one, the reason it is, you don't have enough information. Only thing you can assume on this one is that they share sides. These angles right here, you don't know that they're congruent or not. They don't share these two angles right here. Like, they're not like vertical angles. Vertical angles are angles that are shared between the two, like this right here. This situation, yeah, I know those two angles are congruent. Here, I don't know that this angle and this angle are congruent. That's you assuming something. On this one, it's not enough info to prove congruent. I'm gonna give you the reasoning, and then it's just not congruent. Number 12, last one I'm gonna do. Okay, Jamal, what you think you know, man? You gotta show me on that. How you get it? That wouldn't give you SAS. That would really give you ASS. Yeah. They are vertical angles here, but there's other stuff here. That's not even the one. You got parallel here, so it's more that you should be able to see. Parallel here, and then also parallel here. By those being parallel, these two lines that are going through creating the other sides of these triangles act as transversals. On this, and I'm going to indicate on this transversal right here, this first one. Tell me the relationship. I'm going to mark the angles. You got to tell me the relationship. Tell me the relationship between this angle and this angle that I'm marking right here. Y'all should remember this from parallel lines and transversals unit. What's the relationship between those two angles? Congruent is not a relationship. There you go, a little bit louder. Alternate interior angles. On the other transversal, coming this way, got the same situation. Here and here. Those are alternate interior angles as well. I can mark all that based on them telling me parallel on this one. And once they tell me that, there's a lot of different relationships on here I can mark down. I can say a lot of different stuff. Start with one in mind. What's one that you see? Or ways to prove the triangle congruent? That's not a relationship. I mean, that's not a way to prove triangles congruent. Listen to what you just said. You just said angle side side. That's not a way to prove triangles congruent. Angle side here. Yes, you can say that. What's another one that you see, Vincent? You should see angle side angle here. I think there's one more. I guess Vincent gonna do it all. Go ahead. Yeah, you should also see side angle side on this one. You didn't say that earlier. You said angle side side. You said the vertical angles. If you were doing the vertical angles and you didn't have nothing else, you had to say angle side side. There was nothing else there. I don't want to argue back and forth with you, but if you were just talking about vertical angles, which you named for me, that was the only logical thing you could have said. If not, you were reading it wrong anyway, so you were still wrong. But I don't want to go back and forth. I mean, but I'm just telling you. Even if that's going to be your argument that you said side angle side, you were still